Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another reaction video where I will be reacting to recent but also big NASCAR news at the time these videos are uploaded. And this video is going to be my reaction about the recently announced 2016 rules package, as they like to call it. And this was announced on October 14th, 2015. And I'm going to be just giving my reaction, asking and answering some questions, and a whole lot of other information that I think is definitely worth listening to. So I guess maybe to give maybe like a simple and short reaction, I think the 2016 rules package is a good package that I think is really going to improve the racing in 2016 when you compare it to this year, 2015. And I think a lot of it just has to do with how much downforce they've been taking away. But by next season, there will be 25% less pounds of downforce compared to 2015, and because of that, it's actually gonna. I think it's gonna make the cars in 2016 the least aero-sensitive cars since maybe 2007. The races that did not use the COT in preparation for 2008. But before I get more into the 2016 rules package details, I might as well give you maybe a little history lesson. And this is the way I see it. So that means what I'm about to say may not exactly be 100% true. And so because of that, don't like fully believe or be convinced of what I'm saying is true. It might be worth looking this up yourself. So I think I guess we might as well get into like rules package, like the term. And so the thing is, like, I think for the past couple decades, NASCAR has been tinkering with the rules package, regardless of who's running NASCAR, regardless of who's in charge of that, I guess, job. And the thing is, if you don't believe me, just like type in NASCAR and type in whatever year. It can be 92, it can be 98, it can be 2005, it can be whatever year. And the thing is, like, just like type it in and really compare the cars from then to now, and you can like, and this will and that's gonna show that what I'm saying is true, in my opinion. But the thing is, like, rules like the term rules package or maybe the phrase whatever it exactly is, I think it's called term. It's been more it's been talked about a lot more as time has been going on, especially this year, and for good reasons. And the thing is, I think really this all started back when NASCAR introduced the Gen 6 car, which its first season was 2013, and then late in that season, and then in December, there were a couple of tests. There were a couple of test sessions, but there was one big one in December of 2013, where about like 20 to 30 teams were invited to participate in test races using several different types of rules package, and eventually they came to decide the 2015 rules package. And I guess to give my opinions on that rules package, I think that package actually worked pretty well. It was not perfect by any means. It was not perfect, but I think it was actually pretty good. I think 2014 did provide some pretty good racing, and I think it actually made some races, for example, like the August Pocono race and even the Chicagoland race, at tracks that aren't exactly considered to produce exciting shows, and made them some pretty good races to watch, in my opinion. And then, but the thing is, like, if we backtrack just a little bit to earlier in 2014, NASCAR had begun talking about 2015 rules package, and one of the biggest changes that they like rumored and eventually implemented in the 2015 rules package was a reduction in horsepower from about 850 to 900. It went down from 725. How did they do that? Well, the thing is, they decided to use a tapered spacer, which I know is used in the Xfinity series and possibly the Truck series. I believe ARCA also uses it. But the thing is, that was made, and the thing is, by the time 2015 rolled around, I did not really notice like that major. I did not really notice like that major drastic changes. And the thing is, the reason why I think what influenced the changes in 2015, or maybe the reason why changes were made was simply, I think it was more for like saving teams money. It didn't really have much to do with like making the racing better, which I had very mixed feelings about reading that when I did find that out a couple months ago. But anyway, at the beginning of 2015, it was used after the Daytona 500, and I did not notice. The thing is, the changes weren't that noticeable at first, but to me shortly afterward, they weren't noticeable. And to me, one of the most in the race that I can easily come up with is this year's All-Star race, which to me was a complete dud, and I might even go as far as saying was really boring. And the thing is, I think like when a race is called boring, I think a fan's reason because of that is because of lack of like passing or just anything going on, whether it's a wreck, whether it's a collision with pit road, anything, just simply not a whole lot happened in the All-Star race. And because it's not really going to be remembered, in my opinion, as even like a good race. And I think it's followed up by the Cool 600, and I think this really got both drivers and fans really talking a lot about it. In fact, it eventually led to NASCAR choosing track specific packages for a couple of its events this year. For Kentucky and Darlington, a load and hours package was used, and for Indianapolis and the second Michigan race, a high drag package was used. And the thing is like you can like type both of these in and find out what the difference is in those packages compared to the 2015 rules package. And the thing is what we learned, or at least what many of us found out, is to me the load hours package used at Kentucky and Darlington worked, and the hijack package used at Indianapolis and Michigan did not work at all, in my opinion. And I'm sure many fans would agree with me. And I think that eventually led to NASCAR. Eventually, I think that led to the load hours package being used in 2016, and it will be called the 2016 rules package. And the thing is, what is in this package? 3.5 inch rear spoiler, and this year it's 6 inches. A 0.25 inch front splitter leading edge, and the current one is 2 inches. 33 inch wide radiator pan, and the current one is 30 inches. And actually, the one that was used at Kentucky and Darlington was actually 25 inches. But the reason why this one is bigger than those two races is, I believe I wrote down on a sticky note, and I found this on Reddit. This was done to create a balanced car, which makes sense in my opinion. And the thing is, this load hours package, or I guess now we're going to have to call it the 2016 rules package. This is going to be used everywhere except for the super speedways. Now the super speedways, it's also getting a couple of minor tweaks. Engine roller lifters that will play solid lifters and will add about 10 horsepower. As a result, restrictor plate size reduced from 29-32 to 57-64 inch. Also, for every Sprint Cup team that enters a Sprint Cup event in 2016, digital dashboards will be mandated. And I don't know if this will be used in the Xfinity Series or Truck Series yet. But the thing is, this is definitely a significant change if you actually look up digital dashboards in NASCAR. Also, tires. And next season, I hope that we go with softer tires, which I believe will happen. The thing is, the reason why soft tires were not initially announced, even though softer tires were actually used in Darlington, I think it's because different tracks have different tire wear. And for example, like Darlington, the surface is really aging. It's actually aging pretty fast. And when you put that with soft tires, it really creates a lot of tire wear. For example, I remember a couple times in this race when they showed lap times. When you were out there on old tires, you were significantly off the pace compared to drivers that had fresher tires, and it really led to a couple of interesting strategies, and really like having like new tires was huge. I think that's why like a certain tire was not announced is because of tracks because tires react differently depending on what type of race structure they use, and obviously they're going to need a lot more time to test. There were also a couple other changes that I think are worth looking into. Just type in 2016 rules package and you'll probably find something pretty easily. And I guess like now, I gotta explain why I think this will work. And so the thing is, like, these changes, it's gonna make the cars tougher to drive, and that's what happens when you take away downforce, especially this much. 25% reduction is in my opinion actually pretty big. And the thing is, with the cars being harder to drive, I think we're going to see a lot of cars really loose, quite a bit of slipping and sliding. But the thing is, I think what this will also do is also aerodynamically, it's going to allow, say, the second place car to actually catch up to the leader, and then be able to set up a pass and then complete the pass. You know, no more of this second place car catching the leader, but then all of a sudden like the car like stalls, and all of a sudden like he or she has a hard time making that pass for the lead. The thing is, will be able to solve the aero push? There's a small possibility, but to me, I doubt the aero push is going to be removed away completely. Because the thing is, even after events like Kentucky and Darlington, the lead car still had an advantage. But the thing is, hopefully, the cars being hard to drive, it's going to make it harder for everyone, including the lead car, to really be able to get a massive lead. And the thing is, like, also, I said earlier that I think it will improve the racing, but the thing is, like, how much? And I guess in a way, I sort of kind of did answer this. I don't know if we're going to see anything drastic, but I think we should see an improvement. And hopefully, by the time next year rolls around, and after the first couple races, we see headlines like lead changes are up, passing's up. It may be even a couple or several exciting finishes along the way. And so because of that, I think that really is going to make 2016 hopefully a great year to watch in terms of its racing product. So definitely in my opinion, whether you're a NASCAR fan who is losing interest, or whether you're a loyal NASCAR fan who will continue to watch anyway, give 2016 a chance. And to me, like, I think like this change is also like NASCAR's way of saying, like, here you go, fans, you're getting what you want. Because to me, many fans who know about the lowdown, who know a thing about rules packages, and really, especially the people who saw Kentucky and Darlington, they've been advocating for low downforce and softer tires. And so to me, like, I think like what this will do is, to me, I think it might help some fans, help NASCAR and its fan base, maybe like both like regain like trust, and instead of a good portion of the fan base not really have a whole like trust and faith in what NASCAR does for its races and for its season. And I guess also, like, to change the topic a little bit, like, also, like, how is this like rules package really going to affect like fine? So the thing is, like, are certain drivers going to benefit from the rules package, and are some drivers going to be hurt by the rules package? And And so the thing is, like, I think the reason why I bring this up is because the thing is, like, especially when you compare last year to this year, there are definitely some drivers, I'm not going to mention their names, that either have thrived when they fell last year, and drivers that thrived last year that have fallen this year. Like I said, I'm not going to mention their names. And while it's not realistic, and while it's not completely realistic for drivers to be consistently great or consistently bad from year to year, but the thing is, some of the drivers like fallouts or improvements have been so like drastic this season that makes me wonder, like, wait a second, does this rules package play into their style? And actually, a couple drivers have actually like brought that, like, you know, like they brought it up as well, saying like, this rules package plays to my style. I really like this rules package. You know, so I think that's another thing to also watch out for in 2016. Who's gonna get it right away and who's going to fall? What was I also gonna say? Oh yeah, and I guess this could be maybe like the final thing, or one of the last topics I want to say, and that is, in the future, or if I had the option to, what would I do? And to me, I think like I think maybe if I thought about it more, I probably could come up with a good number of things, and I guess maybe I'll like, here's what I would do. I would get rid of that splitter completely and replace it with a valence. I think I would also maybe go from like 3.5-inch spoilers to maybe like 2-inch spoilers, and maybe if it's possible, do away with the spoiler completely, and also make a couple of other changes to balance out the car. And then also I think it might also be meanbeneficial to maybe give them back the horsepower that they had for so many years before this year, which means going back to 900 to 80 to 850 horsepower again. But the thing is, I think one of the reasons why it didn't happen this year at least was because the thing is, like, I believe Steve O'Donnell said, and Steve O'Donnell is the vice president of competition, I believe. I guess like they fear of like super high speeds at tracks like Michigan, and I think is like because I think is like obviously like Michigan, it's one of the fastest tracks anyway. But the thing is, like, for example, like last year in August in Michigan, after the Michigan August race, they actually did a test very similar to Charlotte December 2013 type of test, where they had several drivers and teams testing various rules package, and actually the one that had the high horsepower and low downforce package, I believe they reached 223.5 miles per hour, or at least one driver and team did. And the thing is, that is like IndyCar type speed or level of speed. And obviously, I think that is definitely way too high for Michigan. But the thing is, like, you know, if you have to add a type of spacer, then why don't you just do it for those types of racetracks? Or there's got to be some other way of getting rid of lowering horsepower of heavily tapered spacers, because I think, like, through what I've read, is that is the tapered spacers, it does more than like reduce speeds. I think it also affects the way the drivers have to drive the car, and I think it definitely affects the handling. And to me, I almost feel like that it should not be doing that, in my opinion. So there's got to be other ways to maybe reduce horsepower, and to me, I think this goes like far beyond the Sprint Cup Series. I think the Xfinity Series could really benefit from using a package like the Sprint Cup Series, but we'll use in 2016, and possibly the Truck Series. And the thing is, the Truck Series, I think maybe you and I can maybe debate a little bit about this, but because the thing is, like, one could say that the Truck Series is boring, and things I could actually argue and say that, and I could actually argue and say that the Truck Series actually have the best rules package, because the Truck Series, I don't think are as aerodynamic, even on tracks that are like cookie cutters, like Las Vegas. Like, for example, I think like Truck Series at Las Vegas, or Truck Series at Las Vegas, Truck Series at Las Vegas, or even Truck Series at Charlotte is still better than Cup Series at Vegas or Charlotte anyway. So, I think that's sort of everything I really want to say. And I'm pretty much right on time with how long I wanted this video to be. And after a couple of takes, I think I finally have the video to where I want it to be, and I got all the information out that I wanted to get out. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any thoughts that you would like to share, feel free to comment. And I hope that you can at least be like nice and respectful to maybe not just me, but maybe anyone else who comments. And if you do that, thank you. So once again, thank you for watching. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and bye.